Are you tired of watching shows that only give you general social media theory and expect you to figure out how to apply it to your own industry? Join us for this week's episode of Social Chatter, the industry's longest running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasevich.
Welcome everyone to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing news talk show. This is episode 349 with myself and Sarah Monroe. And this week, we're going to be talking about Facebook and Meta and that whole thing. We're going to be talking specifically about Facebook's home and feeds tab, which is another update from Facebook, obviously. You know, they're constantly making changes. They're constantly evolving, always trying to grow the business. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Sarah Monroe. Sarah, how you doing?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. This is really, really big news. Meta is answering the question that we have had, which is how is Facebook going to be with all of this new discovery, all of these new this push for short video? How are we going to see the people and groups and pages that we love within all of this? They have answered the question. We are figuring out as we go along, right? So it's a little bit of a Easter egg exploratory fun with Facebook. Let's put it that way. So, and what's interesting is I dove deep into this, right, Christian? And you are still figuring this out too. So we're going to walk everybody through what the new home and feeds and tabs and all the other things mean.
Definitely, yeah. So do you want to go and kick things off?
Yeah, let's kick things off. We're going to kick it right off with Facebook today. And so if you have not heard, this has been rolling out for about 4 days now, at least in North America. And that is Facebook. As I said, Facebook is answering the question of how will we see the content that we are following, the friends, the pages, the groups, when they are also trying to push all of this suggested content and be more entertaining and promote short form video and to really compete with TikTok. So their answer is, drum roll to the next slide, they're going to have home and feeds. So what does that mean, right? So the home, and what I've done is I've screenshotted my own phone. This is you're only seeing this on mobile devices where I know for sure it's on iOS. I've talked to my sister in California. She said that she got it around Tuesday. I got it around Monday. So what you're going to see now is at the bottom of your phone screen. And if you flip to the next slide, Christian, I have well, first of all, iOS users are going to be able to edit some shortcuts. We'll get back to that. But what I really want to focus on is what your screen is actually going to look like. And that is, you now have a new button in the bottom of that lower banner. So if you notice, the little blue home icon is lit up. This is a screenshot of my home screen on my Facebook app. And now the fourth icon over is going to be your feeds. Now, while we're on this home screen, I want to point out something really important. And that is that you see the stories feed across the top, right? You also see that music icon. And Christian and I are going to talk about that a little bit later. But you do see the stories across the top. Now, if you click on that little that feeds icon, it's going to open up a new window, and across the top it says feeds, right? So that you know that you're in your feeds icon, you're in your feeds screen. And the first tab, now there's going to be sub tabs across the top. So you'll see I've highlighted all favorites, friends. What's following is groups and pages. So all is going to be All is going to be all of those pages, all of those friends, all of those groups. There is not going to be suggested content in this feed, which answers the question of, or the response to the frustration that a lot of us have been seeing, is all of this suggested content. It's like, why am I seeing these, not just posts, but a lot of short form video from pages and people I don't even follow? I don't really care about this. So all is going to be everything that you care about, all of the pages, all of the groups, all of the people. Reels and stories are going to be integrated into the posts. And I have to say, I am loving my all feed. I am finally seeing events again. I know I talk all the time about how much I miss events on Facebook. So I'm seeing events, I'm seeing friends that I haven't seen, a post from friends that I haven't seen in a long time, more groups and pages. I am loving it. And it is chronological feed, if I haven't mentioned that before. So then the next one is favorites. And if you notice, I haven't set up my favorites yet. So that's where the introducing favorites is. And so you can get started and you can follow up to 30 friends, people, or pages in that favorites feed. If you remember, a really long time ago, Facebook used to have this favorites feature. And I remember I was working with nonprofits, working in-house at a nonprofit at that time. And all of us were talking about, how are we going to get people to favorite us? How are we going to get the ring the bell for the notifications, follow us, like us, all of these other bells and whistles that Facebook keeps bringing up, right? So now again comes the favorite. So you really have to earn that 1 of 30 to be in that favorites tab. And so the next piece over is friends, and then groups and pages. If you notice across the top, no stories, none of those little story, none of that story slider is up there. What these feed tabs are doing is folding in stories and reels into the feed. So as you're scrolling, supposedly, I haven't seen it yet, but supposedly you're going to start to see reels and stories come up there. So we could come back to us, right? All of the discovery, all of that new short form video, all of that compete with TikTok stuff is going to be in the home tab. And then all of the stuff that you have made a point of following and favoriting and liking and friending and all of that is going to be in your feeds. So we're still going to get news. We're still going to get all of that great content that we go to Facebook for in our feeds. And then for entertainment and discovery, we can go to the home, and that's where Facebook's algorithm is going to use the machine learning to decide what we might like to see based on our other activities. So for those algorithm geeks out there, we're really seeing more of that Instagram algorithm influencing the Facebook algorithm as far as suggestions. So it's going to take some time to learn. Facebook has not gotten me yet as far as suggested reels and suggested content. And honestly, I haven't been using Facebook a lot the last couple months because I don't like this suggested content. And now I'm really excited about this. If you can't tell, I'm really excited about it. I've been using Facebook, I don't know, wasting at least an hour or two a day on Facebook as I'm learning these new feed tools and really liking. I have to say, I like Facebook again because of these feeds. So
I'll have to quote you at what, 9 minutes and 35 seconds there. Says she's loving Facebook again because of the home and feeds tab. And I got to say, I mean, I'm very impressed with what they've done here. You know, the home feed, the fact that that's going to be where you're still going to get the discovery aspect. And then it's up to the person to customize their feed. And I really like that part you mentioned about those 30 coveted slots. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because the thing is, a lot of people, what they end up doing a lot of times is they end up just following everyone. They don't take the time to set these things up. And as a result, then it's like, oh, well, then it's like too much. And there's really like a little dial you have to go through individually. So I do have a question. How much time do you think somebody should spend on this, customizing their feed? Because again, I mean, it's pretty easy to do, but again,
Right.
we're talking one social platform here versus Instagram versus YouTube versus
Right.
Twitter. As you can see, you can spend time working. What is it? Working in your business versus on your
On your
business.
business.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I think part of it is we're now getting, I think, all of the privacy concerns, a lot of this advertising, and all of the noise from the machine learning and the suggested posts that we've been contending with over the last 7, 8 years, right? With all of these adjustments and things, this is a place for you to actually really fine tune and personalize your experience with Facebook. And that is going to bring up the bigger question is how much do you want to connect with people in a social networking space? And I'm speaking of this personally, right? How much time do you want to do that? And if a lot of people want to do it, then that makes sense for businesses to spend more time with Facebook and earn one of those 30 slots on the favorites tab. So, I mean, for me, I might spend some time on the favorites. I have to say that my alls feed is awesome. And
Mhm.
I am back to it's like Facebook was 8 years ago, right? Do I want to say 8 years ago? 8 or 9? Yeah, 8 years ago, I guess. Um, and I can see the content that I have made a point of following and liking. So, and I'm back to discovering things that I really like. Like, if I've just in the last 48 hours, I have found 4 events that I have signed up for, and 2 that are ticketed and bought tickets for. So,
Nice.
yeah. So I've been talking about how I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook
Mhm.
the last 6 months or so. So, I love it. I really do. And I never thought I would be someone who would say that in the middle of 2022, is that I'm really liking Facebook. And Meta, please do this to Instagram.
Yeah,
Because
that's gonna be a whole nother topic, I think,
I know.
given what's
I
kind of going
know.
on there. But
I'm
yeah,
not digging Instagram right now, I have to say. And I do like that Facebook is got this experience, and there's still across the bottom. If you jump back to that first screen of my home screen, Christian, where
yeah,
the big yellow arrow at the bottom that shows you where um the feeds tab is. Next to it is news. So you can still find the news feed. We talked about this a couple weeks ago that maybe we didn't talk about it. Facebook has been not renewing some of their contracts with major publishers, but they're keeping the news feed. So next to the home is that little newspapery looking thing. So you can still get some news from trusted sources that Meta has chosen, and pays a licensing fee to redistribute. So this is answering the question. Like I said, this is answering the question of what is Facebook going to do to
yeah.
keep people who like it and like the way it is,
Mhm.
and to also respond to this TikTok competition.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do we have
Good
any
news.
questions? It looks like we got a few people watching with us.
We do, yes. Bob saying, "Hey, that all feed sounds very promising."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he does wish that the search functionality would work better. We'll see if that helps. Again, because they do say that they are making more of an investment into the AI aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll offer better search suggestions based off of what they see you normally type in or things like that. We'll see. Who knows? That's
Right.
speculation there. And
Well, that search function to that point of the search function, when was it? I think I was still working in an agency when Facebook invested a ton of money in their search functions, and really let it go after a while. I think they just focused more on the artificial intelligence and the new algorithms, but of course had that search engine in the background too. And it's got to be playing in somewhere, because some of the searches that I have done for things are, I think, influencing the reels that Facebook is suggesting that I want to watch. So there is that. And I agree with Bob. Facebook could be an incredible search engine if they reinvest in it.
Yeah. I got to say, the other thing I don't see here is I don't see a lot of ads, at least at the moment.
Ads.
I'm wondering,
Yes.
I know. Here's what
Yep.
this suggests to me, though. This suggests to me that I'm speculating on this.
Mhm.
They're going to obviously incorporate ads, I think, into content at some point, if they're not already continuing
Yep.
to do that. And then I think at some point, to be almost, this almost sets it up to be like a Facebook Plus type service. If you kind of think about it.
It could be. So the way the ads will appear in every feed, so that you'll have the home, and then you also, so basically Facebook has, what's the math now? You've got home, you have all, you have friends, you have groups, you
Mhm.
have pages, and you have favorites. Six places where ads can appear.
Yeah.
So what, 6 times the inventory of where ads can go? I haven't seen there. This is so new that I don't think it's hit Ads Manager yet, of
Mhm.
how you set up campaigns and things.
Yeah.
Who know? I mean, we would be wildly speculating to say if we were able to actually choose which feed ads would appear in. So that, who knows? Who knows what ads will do? Yet we know for certain that ads will show across every screen of the new Facebook feeds. So that's for one thing. The other piece about feeds that I'm really excited about is no suggested content. No
Yes.
suggested content.
You mean like this comment that we got from NLTMW here saying, hey, is this going to end that annoying show more like this?
Yes. It's
Good
going to
changes.
be, yeah, it's going to be like Facebook used to be, really.
Mhm.
And chronological too. One thing that I find really funny is if you were like me and you would always go into your shortcuts and choose most recent posts so that you weren't
Mhm.
seeing old stuff every time you log into your Facebook app.
Yeah.
So I've tested it a couple of times so far. When I come back into my Facebook app, and so I've closed it down and I've come back into it, it
Mhm.
always defaults to the home. So they are still trying to push you into this discoverable content
Yeah.
and get you watching and seeing more
Mhm.
ads and seeing more suggested content and having fun with it, being more like TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to choose to go to your feeds. So
But hey, it's an option. That's the thing. It's an option, and it's
option.
there in front of you as opposed to being buried underneath a menu.
Mhm. Right.
So again,
Right.
make it a little bit easier. I got to say, one thing it does make me think of is Facebook should maybe consider have some sort of like re-engagement campaign where, if somebody, for example, has not made that adjustment on Facebook, for example, to
Mhm.
maybe set up their feed after because they've been on there for a long time, they should consider maybe having something like that where it maybe pops up a random pop-up that says, hey, here's the new feeds tab. Would you help talk about sorting it? Help them make some of those adjustments or
Mhm.
provide some sort of boost to understand it better versus people don't do that. They're just going to go back on the product and then say, oh, well, I don't like the experience.
Mhm.
So
I think
we'll
we
see.
are going to see more of that. We're going to see more of their ads. I mean, I'm seeing face ads for Facebook all over the place. I'm seeing it on broadcast television,
Yeah.
ads for Facebook, ads for TikTok too.
I'm
But
also seeing a lot of ads for Portal, which we won't talk about today because they switched that product. I'm seeing a lot more of that as well. But
poor Portal,
yeah,
poor Portal. If people don't know the news, is that they are kind of discontinuing the consumer use of Portal, right? Am I getting it wrong?
no,
They're
which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're no, they're
They're,
keeping the consumer side. They are eliminating the business side, right? Am
I
I getting
think it's
that
the
right or
opposite,
wrong?
actually. I think
Is
they're
it the opposite?
because it would make
So,
sense if I'm doing the business. I mean, it depends on if people are working from home and whatnot. So
right. And yet I noticed during Amazon Prime days that
they were heavily, yeah.
yeah, they were heavily pushing
Sorry.
their product that's very much like Portal.
Yeah.
Which I have to say, having older family members, that kind of device is really handy. right?
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
right there. You can just call them on a video and make sure that they're safe. And yeah, there's a lot of handy uses
Yeah.
for
So
it.
they're getting,
So
it looks like they're getting rid of it from a, not, they're getting rid of the consumer device side, but keeping
yeah.
the business side. And that's the ads I've seen. They've been ones about like, for example, if you had kids at home making noise, for example, they having some sort of features to be able to mute that while you're able to continue doing your work or be on a call or things like that. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Mute the background noise. What fun is that anymore?
you
You
get
know,
everyone to use that. Yeah.
it's been 2.5 years of a lot of people now working from home,
Yeah.
or more people, I should say, more people working from home. And we like to see the dog interruptions and the kids saying hi, right? I have these open hours for one of my projects, and everybody's kid says hello on Friday morning. So we may have a kids club in addition to our work club. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Okay, so big news,
So
obviously, this Facebook home and feeds tab. That's such a mouthful, but
yeah.
we've got that. What other news do we have this week, Sarah?
So the other piece of we'll just touch on it from Meta is that they are going to have more of a music licensing
Mhm.
um subscription
Yeah.
and monetization. You know a little bit more about this, Christian, than I do.
Yeah. So basically, what Facebook's doing here is they're going to be doing music revenue sharing. And so if you're a Facebook creator, obviously, they want you to create videos, but you want music to be able to pair with that video. And what they're basically doing here is they're going to be including or making it easy for you to include licensed music in a video, and then they're going to have revenue sharing with the music rights holder. So
Mhm.
the creator can obviously earn money, and the music rights holder can earn money as well. So basically, it comes down to money. Pretty neat, actually.
Right.
Apparently, this feature is the first of its kind within the music industry. No other platform offers creators the type of revenue model at this scale. And they
Mhm.
did say they're going to have artists such as Post Malone, uh, Grupo La Cumbia, Lee Kate, Bicep,
Mhm.
among others. Again, I'm just reading from the press release here. I don't have
Right.
much more to go off there, but I think it's going to be, again, I mean, you want to make sure the creators and, the creators have access to something like this, because again, it helps improve the platform. You mentioned some of
Mhm.
this new content, and you want to make sure that the music rights holders are, being compensated fairly. So
Exactly. And does it apply to gaming? Because I know that this is an issue with Twitch and Discord and things when people are doing the gaming, having some music in the background people really like. And there's been a lot of restrictions around music in the gaming live streams.
yeah,
And
it doesn't say if it's going to be related to that actually. So
maybe we'll see. That's a reason to use Facebook gaming, right?
yeah, and they did say with the music revenue sharing, when a creator uses licensed music in their videos on Facebook that are 60 seconds or longer, they can earn money on certain videos through in-stream ads with a share of revenue going back to the music rights holder. That's
Okay.
actually pretty fascinating. So basically, they're encouraging you to make longer videos, but not too long of a video
Right.
in order to earn. So they're basically, if you think about, it, they're sort of gamifying video creation.
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
yeah,
So, well, and this original creator attribution actually leads into our next story where we're talking about YouTube Shorts. And YouTube Creator Insider has um, announced some new tools to create shorts with. So I have to say, I haven't used the shorts camera at all in YouTube yet. So this is applicable to that YouTube Shorts camera, and also sampling. So there's a new sampling feature where you can cut a 1 to 5 second clip from eligible shorts and video on demand. So your videos on YouTube. So this is a chance. This is where you do have to put it in your settings where you can set whether or not you're going to allow your videos to be clipped. And it gives creators a chance to create a short from it. So if someone uses a clip of one of your videos, you will have attribution back to your original video. And there will be a link if someone wants to jump back to your account. Now, this is significant because if you look at Reels, TikToks, you don't necessarily know if that clip, audio, video, whatever it is actually from that creator. I mean, we're seeing a lot of repurposed audio on especially Instagram Reels, right? And there's times where I'm investigating, I want to use that piece of audio. I don't know if it actually came from that first creator. So this YouTube is making it very crystal clear where that piece of content came from and attributing it back to the original creator. So this is a really big deal. The other piece is that it will have monetization tied to it. So if your video is used in a short, you will be eligible for monetization for that short. If your video on demand, if your video, regular YouTube video, they call them VODs, video on demands for YouTube. If that is used in a short and is monetized, you have to be signed up for the whole YouTube monetization piece and be part of that partner program. So really interesting way to make sure that the creator of that content gets the credit that they deserve. I think it's a really big deal and a huge step. No one else is doing it. The other piece, what the screen is showing now, is that you can save multiple drafts in shorts. Again, this is the YouTube camera. I'm not a YouTube short camera. I'm not really familiar with it yet. What they're saying about this is that you can save drafts. You have to at least use the camera once to save a draft, and then all of your drafts will be saved. It is associated with the device that you're using. So if you create a short draft on your phone and then you switch to another phone or a tablet and it's still your same YouTube account, that those drafts are only going to save on each device. So what do you think about that whole cut sample section of the shorts? I forgot to mention there is going to be a green screen option too. We see this a lot on TikTok, people having a video play behind them, and then you are talking or doing whatever you want to do in the foreground. You can resize that. The green screen, I didn't want to mention it too much because it's still rolling out. It's still very much in the testing beta phase. But again, that clip that's rolling behind the person will be attributed back to the original video that created it.
I gotta say, I like the whole shorts thing. So I manage a pretty large YouTube channel, and when we have that shorts feature as well. And I think it's important to make it easy for people to sample the short, but also get it back to the creator, because there's a lot of times, I look through content and I see, oh, well, our video is being sampled, but sometimes you don't always know that. It's only because they tagged you in the description or something like that, versus actually letting you know that your content is actually being used. So I think that's very useful. Love the whole attribution model there. I think that makes a lot of sense. And again, I gotta say, the one thing about that shorts drafts feature you mentioned that sort of gives me pause is, you mentioned that if you have it on a phone, it's only on that one phone. People upgrade their phones pretty often.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised, I guess, that doesn't go into the cloud, that they can't. Maybe this is, again, maybe it's version one.
Version one.
Get it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I don't know much about the YouTube camera app, short camera, YouTube short camera. Yeah.
But I will say, shorts is a really good feature.
It's a really good feature. And part of this announcement on Creator Insider. So if you're a big YouTube user or you want to get more into YouTube, follow that channel, Creator Insider. They also said they were also talking about shorts being part of the subscription feed. So that it has been rolling out. It's been a little fluky, but now it's I'm seeing it pretty consistently that the creators that I follow, their shorts are in my subscription scroll. The other piece is that they did answer the question. People were asking about evergreen shorts, like shorts that maybe a month or two old, why they're getting more views. And that is that whole discovery part of YouTube, right? They are offering short suggestions
Mhm.
If your short is on a trending topic or you have new followers, if an older short starts to generate more views, it's going to get recommended more. So just like the videos on demand on YouTube, the shorts are starting to get those recommended placements in people's feeds and homepages. So I love it. I really do. YouTube gets me when it comes to short form content. Instagram gets me with short form content, but my feed is a disaster.
Yeah.
And what else was in this? They don't. Oh, yeah, this is a big one with the shorts. Creating a short right now, YouTube is not recommending end screens. There's a lot of people who put end screens on their shorts. It's a great way to have just a final call to action to remind
Mhm.
people, hey, I just talked about an event. Click in the description
Yeah.
to go buy a ticket, kind of thing. So I don't know if people are really going to follow that recommendation if you're using YouTube, especially if you're using YouTube as your um, video archive, where then you can post it on a blog post, you can embed it wherever you want, everywhere. You kind of lose that call to action if you want it for other purposes. So
Yeah, I got to
yeah.
say the other thing I would encourage you to do, if you're making YouTube content or YouTube Shorts content, irregardless, you need to be strategic with the content you're putting out. Don't just make a short just because, hey, I wanted to make a short. A lot of times, you look at these large channels, everything's planned out. They
Mhm.
know exactly what they're dropping, why they're dropping it, when they're dropping it. It's all very well thought out and planned. So take the time if you're
Right.
making that video to make it right. Don't get it 100% perfect. Obviously, don't
Mhm.
nitpick over all those little things, but like just focus on getting the content out there, get it out there,
Right.
and then iterate. But try to be strategic with what you're putting out.
Mhm.
So
And you can still be in the moment, right?
yeah,
You can still create things in the moment. I do plan in spontaneity. Doesn't that sound awful? I do plan those spontaneous things, like we are getting ready, we're setting up for live events again, right?
mhm,
And we still have tickets available.
yeah,
So we can push out a reel or a short that's made in the moment,
mhm,
and then our followers might see it and remind themselves, "Oh, right, I was going to buy a ticket to that,
yeah,
and I just keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off."
yeah,
So there's ways to use it spontaneously, and capture that in the moment. That's what some of this is supposed to be. Remember stories, right?
yeah,
Stories are supposed to be in the moment.
mhm,
Stories can now become reels, um, with Instagram. I don't know
yeah.
that it can become yet on Facebook. But yeah, there's plenty of places to be in the moment with it as well. But if you are like a significant channel like you manage, Christian,
Mhm.
plan it out.
Yeah,
Storyboard it so that your team on the ground has this task as part of what they're doing that day.
definitely.
Yeah.
So very cool. Do we have any other news topics this week, Sarah, or do we have a light show this week?
We have a light show this week. I
All
was
good,
trying to
right?
dive in. Yeah, I was trying to dive in. We were both trying to dive into the new news about YouTube and Shopify's integration for in-stream shopping. It's a little heavier.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one
We're gonna have to
next week.
talk
Yeah.
about that one next week because it was a little heavier sledding, as we say here in Vermont. And we didn't want to get speculate too much or just read from the press releases. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Well, Sarah, I just have one last question for you. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to chat with you?
Sure. They can find me across social media at Sarah Monroe VT. I'm still doing my fun little creative exercise on Instagram, so you can follow
Okay.
me there. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, I am using creator mode. So if you want to connect, please click on those three little dots. The drop down will show you connect and send me a note. Let me know that you saw me on Social Chatter, and I'm happy to connect.
And I'm Christian Kirsevich, and I'm at Social Chefs across all our social platforms. Again, bringing you the latest breaking social media news from the past week. But if you want to connect, I'm on LinkedIn as well. But would love to connect with you all. And Sarah, I got to say, just excellent job on just all the
Thanks.
updates on Facebook's the home and feeds tab. I mean, I think that's going to be a big game changer for
Mhm.
social media. So
yeah, it will. Go back to Facebook. See if you like it.
yeah, definitely. So that's your homework for the week, everyone. In addition to the blog post that we're going to have going out over the weekend, be sure you go and check out the new Facebook home and feeds tab. And you just have to do that from your mobile device, right, Sarah?
Only mobile.
Yep.
Only mobile.
Awesome. Well, we'll have the blog post going out over the weekend, socialchefs.com/SC349. With that, we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.